everybody. It's good to have you here. Thank you so much for taking out of your time to be here with me and learn a little bit. We're going to go into Jewish meaning, and as I said last week, we're going to go into another part of Elul. And we know Rosh Hashanah is about Teshuva. That's like the biggest thing. We say Teshuva, we have to return. And a friend of mine told me, what is Teshuva? Teshuva is when we align our actions with our faith, with our belief. We believe one thing. We believe that we want to be a certain type of person. We believe that we want to be holy. We want to be spiritual. We want to enjoy life, and we want to know. We want to get to a Shabbos meal and sit down and feel like, wow, we are surrounded by the angels. We want to stand by davening where we are totally engulfed, and we see the words come to life, and we feel the presence of Hashem around us. We want to be able to learn a little bit more. Yes, we want money. Yes, we want enjoyment and pleasures in our life, but we also understand that the real pleasures, the real everlasting pleasures, require some work in this world. And this world is when we work. We get up, we move around, and we do things. And guess what? We'll have that menucha and the shalva, relaxation, when we get to Yerushalayim, when we get to Gan Eden, when we get to Olam Haba. And when we return our actions to our beliefs, that's called Teshuva. We bring them back together. I heard it from a friend of mine, and I'm sure he heard it from someone else. And it's a big thought that we should have. When we do Teshuva, the word is very big. And we try to wonder, okay, so how do we do it? I tried doing it last year. Does it require regret? And if I start going into my thought about regret, what's going to happen? I'm going to get stuck in all those stories. And what if I don't really regret those stories? When I go back to them and I start thinking about them, I actually start yearning for them again. I start thinking about those actions and those places I've gone to, and I'm like, hey, and you start reminiscing over those times, and instead of actually regretting it, and then where's the entire Teshuva? And is there doubt? Yes, there's a lot of doubt. Will I ever be forgiven for this? Is there a way back home for me? And there are so many parts in Teshuva that we feel like we're not connected to, and we get lost just thinking about it. So let's go into a little topic, which is two Gemaras. One Gemara says that there's a way of Teshuva which is called Yesh Koine Olamai B'Shah Achas. If I remember correctly, it's Mesechtas Avodah Zarah, Daf Yudches Amud Aleph. There's a story over there how the person who helped Chanina ben Tradian die because he was all wet and he had a Sefer Torah on his chest. He removed those things so he should die quicker. And then this person himself, he jumped into the fire, and Rebbe said, Yesh koina olamai b'shah achas. He was able to buy his world just with one deed of 1 simple second. And then there's another Gemara that says, where's that Gemara? Gotta remember. But there's another Gemara that says that what is Teshuva? Mesechtas Yuma 86b probably. The Gemara says that there is, when you do Teshuva, you have to come back to this ba'oisoi makoim, that same place, ba'oisoi isha, that same temptation, and ba'oisoi perek, and that same life situation. Which means that sometimes we could go through something when we're younger, and then when we get older, we're in a totally different situation. Our money is better, our financial situation, our kids, our reputation. We have a whole bunch of different things, and of course, it's easy not to do what we did in the past because we have so much more on the line. So Teshuva is when you have that same exact situation where we're in the same place where you know that no one's going to find out, or whatever the story is, and you say no. This time you say no. So how do we reconcile these two Gemaras? One Gemara says you go about just one little deed could buy you your entire world, and the other one says no, it's a work of a lifetime. So you think about it like this: you have this couple who's been they've been fighting for a long time, and of course, when we have words to tell other people, there are words that are stuck in our hearts. If we don't speak them, they foster in our hearts and they turn into this heavy weights. We end up becoming pulled down by them because we don't want to speak these few words, say the words "I am sorry," and because we can't say that, it just becomes this rock on our hearts, and we end up either staying silent or expressing them in other ways, physically or by neglect or by going about doing things we shouldn't. And yes, those are a few words that are suppressed that have to come out. And so this couple, they've been on bad terms for a while. And they go to Besdin, they go to court, and they say it's time to end this. It's time to move on with our lives. And as they're about to sign, the last document, the husband turns around and tells his soon-to-be ex, and tells her, I'm realizing that we basically just wasted 10 years of our life, and I'm truly sorry that I did this to you. I don't know how I would do anything different, but I do know that if I had another chance, this is not what I would do. It's really unfortunate that I didn't see you as a human being. I just saw you as a obstacle in my road, and yeah, and so the wife turns around and naturally starts crying and tells the lawyer, hold off, we're gonna go and figure this out one last time and see if it happens. And they go home, and the silence in the car and the silence that is between them, it's no longer out of hate like it used to be. Right now the silence is just, it's peace, it's calm, it's just everybody's just feeling good. They're quiet, and there's this little high. Yes, they have a hard time connecting and bonding, but they know that they're working towards something better. But this high doesn't last for too long. This koina olam b'sha achas, that you were able to get back with your love and be back in the house, and that's basically what the Gemara says. Yesh koina olam b'sha achas. You were able to get your olam haba. You're able to get your serenity, your peace. But once that high dies down, once you go into your regular day-to-day schedule and you start realizing the things that used to get you mad, the way she eats, the way she dresses, and the way she talks, and the things that are important to her, and the way she looks at you, and then all the things that she has, and the things that he does, and the people that he hangs out with, and all the time that he doesn't spend with me, and the backhanded comments, all those things that both of them have, like they just get triggered. They just wake up and they're like, why did I ever agree to come back home? I could have signed this. But they decided from now on, this is where we're going to be committed to making this work, because I see that there's a real person behind that face. And they get together and they start talking. They say, listen, there are things that bother me about you. There are things that bother me about you. And how could we make this work? Should we go to therapy? Should we gain an awareness to our actions? Should I realize when I get upset and know whom to talk to, know what to do about it? Should I understand that when I get upset, I go into a whole bunch of destructive behaviors that only lead me into a further abyss that just take me and rip me up from the inside? So when I come home, naturally, I'm not interested because I've just been busy with a full day of just sabotage. So it starts becoming the work of a lifetime, where it's like, okay, I come back to all these moments that I used to get so mad, and I tell myself, it's not happening this time. This time, I'm going to do the right thing. This time, I'm not going to do the thing that has led me to 10 years of a terrible marriage. I'm going to actually make something happen. And the husband starts applying himself to his weaknesses and starts fighting his addictions and starts clearing up his mind. And the wife starts journaling, and she starts to, getting different hobbies, and keeping herself in a good space, keeping her heart clean, keeping herself pure and secure and relaxed. And together they slowly start admiring each other's work. It's not like I'm ashamed of you because I have this weakness. Just the opposite. I'm proud of you for working on this weakness. I'm proud of you for taking your life into your hands. And now the two of them, even though they're working on themselves separately, their bond is becoming one stronger bond because they're sharing the same life. He respects her, he admires her, she respects him. It goes in both ways, and slowly they learn how to laugh about their problems. They start saying, wow, for 10 years you went through so many things, and I've gone to therapy and spoken about all these things, but I understand that those came from a person who was broken. Those came from a person who was programmed from a young age, saw these things from his parents, saw these things from her family and friends, and thought this is how life is supposed to be. And now I realize, no, there's a much better way to live. There's a love that transcends life itself. love that is rooted into the source of love, which is Hashem, and we could live in that moment, which is, it's not about receiving something in the end, like I'm gonna love you so I could have something at the end. It's not about that. It's about right now, while I'm sitting with you, I'm living in peace. I'm relaxed. There's nothing else in the world that's more important than this. And time just flies by when I'm sitting next to you. Time flies by when I'm talking to you, when I'm spending time with you. And that's a level of tshuva that we yearn to get to. Yes, there is yesh koina lam b'shar achas. A person could go and regain his entire world with just one deed. But what are we going to do once we get there? Do we know how to act in Olam Haba? Do we know how to live in this place of love? Or are we just in the party, but we're just carrying around the champagne cups? Are we part of the party? Are we the entertainers? Are we the guest of honor? Are we there because we deserve to be there? Or are we just there because we were hired for the event? And that's yesh koin olam b'shar achas. But we want to get to a place where when we get to Olam Haba, when we get there, we feel like we deserve it. We feel like this is a place where I want to be. And it's not about getting to Olam Haba. It's about living with that feeling right now, right here in this moment in our life. When you live in this mindset, and when your weaknesses knock on the door, and when your addictions come along, and your sadness takes over, you stop and you say, hey, this is not the life I want to live. Yes, it may take a day, it may take a week for you to realize that you're in this mess. But guess what? Whenever you wake up, you tell yourself, this is not the life I want. I'm sorry. I'm going to find something good that's going to help me out. And we have to give ourselves ways to wake up. We have to give ourselves actions throughout the day that force us to wake up. We say, I'm going to go daven with minyan, even though it's hard for me, because when I do that, I'm releasing energy of myself and putting it into speaking to the one I love. And all you know, by the time you're done, you're woken up. And we have to create a schedule for ourselves so we don't end up coming home from davening and say, oh, okay, now let me sit down on my phone and get stuck on it for 2 hours. Or how about I go and I repeat all those destructive behaviors that I've been doing for so many years. We have to put a whole bunch of things throughout our day that we keep ourselves woken up. We keep ourselves being, I don't know how to say this better, being woke with God. We don't want to be woke, but we want to be awakened. We want to be up. We want to remember that this is what we're aiming towards. So this is your little piece for Elul for this week. I hope this gives you some clarity and maybe some direction as well. So if you want to know more about the inner parts of the heart and how things work in the brain and how all of our stories lead us in a certain direction and how we could learn to deal with them, I have a book called Who Am I? It's on Amazon. And if you just want to resonate with the words of people who went through similar things, open the Tehillim. I have a Tehillim journal, which is all in English and poetry. You could read it and feel like David HaMelech, King David, and all the other writers are really connecting to you and to the things you're going through. So check out my books, watch my other videos, and you can reach me at LemmerHypno@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. Have a wonderful, wonderful month and enjoy. Be well.